iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. Yeah. Mamelodi Sundowns versus Sekhukhune. Why are you laughing?
It's a new experience for you.
Yeah, it is, eh? Mamelodi Sundowns 2, Sekhukhune 0. What did you make of the game, sir?
Yeah, just to say to everyone, heads up, Vilakazi will join us later on tonight. We had an engagement. Later on tonight, there's Marumo Gallants and Orlando Pirates as well. Thank you very much, Justice. Thank you very much to everyone as well. I think the major thing I need to first speak about in this game was the red card. Diego Marcelo Allende came in the second half, and within minutes, unfortunately, there was a very bad tackle that he did on Victor Letsoalo, and then he was red carded. I think the big talking point about that moment was the fact that number one, the referee gave him a yellow card. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is that there was like maybe a 3-minute lapse between the fourth official intervening in that moment and then the referee giving the red card. Yeah. Now, there was another red card because of that, because Wendon Robinson, the goalkeeper coach at Sundowns, he was given a red card as well. So multiple things happened there. The first thing is that there's nothing wrong with the fourth official giving advice to referee who to know, look, this was a bad decision. It was not a yellow card. It's supposed to be a red card. You have to upgrade it. Yeah. But the problem that makes it suspicious is that, number one, you've allowed the referee at least a minute or 2 or 3 to have a think about it, and then he gives a yellow card. Yeah. And then you only intervene afterwards, like 3 or 4 minutes after the moment, which then created the suspicion from bench Sundowns. Did you go and check it on the video? We don't have VAR in South Africa. What's wrong? And I think that's the words that we heard shouted out on TV as well. Yeah. What happened? Did you go check the VAR first? And that's why when the Robinson was given a red card as well in that moment, because he kept on talking and talking and talking. They kept on shouting. It's not a wrong decision. It's a red card, it's a reckless tackle, but the way in which it was done, it was maybe, it gave the suspicion that it could be unfair. But overall, there's nothing wrong with a fourth official intervening and saying, look, this looks like a penalty, even though you said it's not a penalty. It's well within the right. The referee's decision is final. If he accepts the advice, he's going to accept it, or he could reject it as well. That was the one major thing that happened in this game. Otherwise, Sundowns won because they were supposed to win. They were always going to win. The other thing that I noticed as well about Sekhukhune was the fact that immediately when they conceded a goal from Mamelodi Sundowns, they started pushing, and when they were pushing, they actually scored 2 goals. Yeah. One was Uchibuike Ohizo, and then the second one was Umahlango, if I'm not mistaken, and both of them were offside goals. Now, my thing was looking at their reaction, the way that they were fighting against the assistant referee. Yeah. They went to him, and they were shouting at him, and I was concerned about those kind of moments. I'm like, okay, you're protesting the fact that those goals are disallowed because it's offside. But based on what? Do you have a different video that you're looking at to say, no, it's not offside? Because, number one, Ohizo was miles offside, like miles offside. Yeah. And then the second one, Umahlango, was also miles offside. There was not even anyone near him, but they kept on abusing the first assistant referee. I think the teams can do better. I think this happened as well in a game between Swallows and TS Galaxy. Even though the Swallows goal was supposed to be a goal, it was an incorrect decision by the assistant. But when you are protesting those kind of offsides, your striker is way offside, but you still go and abuse and harass and confront the referee or the assistant. What are you basing that on? Are you saying that you have visual evidence to say that you shouldn't be getting an offside? So that I had a problem with that. Otherwise, in terms of the game, it was not necessarily an interesting game, but Sekhukhune made it difficult enough that by the time we got to the 45th minute at halftime, we didn't know who was going to win the game. We knew that it probably is a matter of time before Sundowns scores a goal because they are who they are, but they made it difficult. At 45 minutes, it was still 0-0. Mamelodi Sundowns getting the ball, circulating the ball. They played Mbule, they played Andile Jali, and Mpelele Mkhulise in the midfield. And then up front, it was Neo Maema, Gaston Sereno, and Peter Shalulile as well. So they were continuing with the squad that they played, or the first 11 that they played on Tuesday against the TS Galaxy. So that was pretty much that, and I was like, oh, okay, surprise, because Dennis Onyango and Mandela Onyango was also playing. Yeah. It was like Mamelodi Sundowns, the second team playing, and they were still too strong for Sekhukhune. Sekhukhune, you could admire them in that at the times that they had the ball, they showed a bit of fight, but they only started fighting proper when they conceded a goal, which becomes a problem with a lot of the teams in the DStv Premiership, that they wait until they concede a goal against Sundowns and then they start playing. And I think that I had a slight problem with that, even though it's understandable. And you have sympathy for these teams that, unfortunately, they are weaker than Sundowns. They're not going to win against Sundowns, but sometimes you come here and make it interesting. And you were saying as well, to myself and Junior when we were watching, Ogoti, look, you want to see something different. Maybe Sundowns lose by 1-0. It's inconsequential. It's not going to make any difference. Sundowns are like 22 points ahead of everyone. So even if they lose 5 games in a row, they will still have a comfortable lead at the top of the table. So this is the problem, maybe even with the entertainment value of it, that you already know it's January. This is the last week of January. You already know that Sundowns are going to win the league. They are leading by 22 points. Of course, it's not like Sundowns are going to sit down and say, okay, we are happy, you can lose. We are going to lose this game. It's that up to the teams to make sure that they do something, make it difficult for Sundowns. I think in many instances in this game, Sekhukhune tried that, but they were never going to be good enough against Sundowns. I think it was a decent game of football. The fact that there was a red card, Cassius Mailula as well scoring a goal, Peter Shalulile scoring a goal as he always does that. That was very impressive from him as well. He becomes a top goal scorer now. Last season, he was the player of the season, top goal scorer, players player of the season, and I think the season before as well. This season, we're struggling to get a player of the season. Some people are saying Monapole Saleng, although of course here and there he's good, and then sometimes he goes on runs where he's not that good. I think if Shalulile gets to 15 goals in a season, he's going to be the player of the season. Otherwise, decent game of football. The team that we thought was going to win won. Later on tonight, we have Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns, and so Vilakazi will be back as well. Thank you very much for watching us.